second or two. Recording is on. There it is. All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to LisaBug Yoga, Yoga for All, an all levels yoga class. You can be a beginner, an advanced yogi with many years of practice under your belt. There'll be something for everyone. Make sure you're practicing within your own limitations, doing what feels right for your body. We have some focus today on the mid-back region. We'll be spending some extra time there, loosening up any tightness. And my focus on the month of January in all of my online classes is finding balance. And not just balancing on one foot, definitely will be finding balance there, but also finding balance between the strength and flexibility of our body from the front side to the back, from the right and left, from the top of our body to the bottom, finding balance between work and rest, strength and length. So a lot of what we focus on today will be putting our body into that balance and homeostasis. So let's begin seated on your mat in a nice comfortable position. I have a blanket today as well as a yoga block, a yoga strap. So those might be things that you have at home to get yourself nice and comfortable. And we'll just lengthen the spine.
Okay.
Find your breath and begin to calm your mind and body. Yesterday was a very tragic day in the history of our country. And I know many of us come onto our mat this morning feeling anxious, just feeling a lot of turmoil inside, fear, anxiety, stress. So let's just really try to let that go this morning. And bring yourself and your awareness to the breath as it moves in and out through your nose. And we'll place our hands on the sides of our rib cage, just forward and lateral. And as you breathe, allow this area to open and to expand. Feel your rib cage opening right and left and slightly to the front, creating space for the air as it enters the lungs, deep and low into those lower lobes of your lungs. And let's find a rhythm to the breath, inhaling 3 or 4 counts and exhaling that same duration. An equal ratio breath. Nice big breath in, 4, 3, 2, exhale. And again, big breath, 4, 3, 2, exhale, 4, 3, 2. 2 more breaths. And one more time, breathe in, expand the lungs and the ribs. Exhale completely. Blink your eyes open, place the palms of your hands right on the fronts of your knees. And as you breathe in, lift your heart forward, expand through the front of the body, open up your throat. As you breathe out, round your back into a seated cat, tucking the tailbone, bringing your chin to the chest. Breathe in, expand, seated cow. Breathe out. Seated cat. Now see if you can find that equal ratio breath again. About 4 counts each direction. And just notice how your spine's feeling with this very gentle movement of flexion and extension. Maybe find the Ujjayi breath. Constrict the back of the throat and hear that soft whisper, especially in that exhalation. One more time. Breathe in and breathe out. Come back to neutral. And open the arms to the side. Palms are facing forward. We'll breathe in, reaching up. Then twist to the right, breathe out. The left hand just crosses on top of the right knee. Look behind you. Breathe in, the arms reach. Turn left, look behind you. Exhale. Now, a lot of our yoga practice for all is about going at your own pace with the flow of your own breath. As you twist, notice that area in the mid-back. Feel it releasing and letting go. Physical tension, letting go. Mental tension, letting go. Emotional tension, letting go. One more each side, to the right and left. Inhale, center. And then exhale, drop the right arm, stretch side to the left or to that right side. Left arm opening. Reach up and switch. So a lot of the tightness in our mid-back can be relieved by side bending and by lengthening those muscles that reside on both sides of the back. Our erector spinae muscles, as well as the quadratus lumborum, big muscle in the lower back that forms a diamond shape with the breath. Inhale and exhale. One more each side. Reach up and hold. Bring the arms to goalpost. Pull the shoulder blades back. And then bring the elbows and the wrists to touch. Drop the chin to chest. Open up through that upper back region, right between your shoulder blades. With the breath, inhale, expand. Exhale, contract. So our warm-up is all about gentle movement and diagnosing how your body's feeling today as you move deeper into the fullness of your practice. Noticing if you have sore muscles or injuries to take care of today. One more time, expand and contract. Expand and hold, and then bring your arms down. Now, if you'd like to change the cross of your knees, it's a nice time to switch ankles in front, if that feels okay for you. And then bring hands to the top of the knees and start to circle your spine around. It's known as circumduction of the spine. And allow your shoulders to melt into this. So as you move to the right, the left shoulder comes across just a little bit. And as you move to the left, the right shoulder comes across. So you're not just circling the spine, but you're adding a gentle twist. Eyes can be closed in this basic movement to really feel it from the inside out, without using your vision for awareness. Using your internal vision, internal awareness. We'll take one more this direction. Ooh. And when the timing is right for you, pause and reverse. Circling and rotating, a really organic movement. Every body should look a little bit differently performing this because it's what feels appropriate for you. Notice your lower back, your mid back, your side ribs, maybe your hips a little bit, releasing in this movement. Now with the breath, you should be exhaling as your body's in its most forward position. And inhaling as you're coming around the circle. And one more this direction. Coming back to the top and just check in and see how you're feeling. And then we'll transition to all fours, hands and knees. If you need some padding for your knees, you can use your blanket or your cushion, or you can take your yoga mat and make a little fold in it so you've got some extra padding there for your knees. And when we come to all fours, the shoulders are over the wrists, the hips are over the knees, the spine is long and neutral, the belly drawn in and up. We'll send our right leg back behind with a flex in the ankle and really reach that heel as far away from your body as you can reach it. And then the left hand reaches in opposition with your thumb up as if you're shaking someone's hand. And just check to make sure your hips and your shoulders are as level as you can make them. We'll take a breath in here. And as you exhale, round your back like a cat and pull the knee and the elbow close to touch in the center. Tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone, pull your abs in. Then with the breath, inhale to move long, exhale to contract. This is a wonderful exercise for the entire core. Those deep muscles that stabilize the spine, and the most superficial muscles that cause that flexion of the abdominals. Two more. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more. Then reach out and hold. We'll bend the knee of the extended leg and push up to the ceiling and partway down. Up and down. Work your glute. Now if there's too much pressure in your right arm and your shoulder, you can bring your left hand back down to the mat and equalize that intensity. Squeeze it up. 8 more. 7. Neutral neck position. 5. Abs tight. 3. 2. Hold it up. Now you can stay here, Or take that left hand and reach back, find your ankle, and hold a kneeling half bow pose. You choose the level of intensity that feels right for your body today. You can also loop the yoga strap around your foot if it's difficult for you to reach the ankle here. 2 more breaths. Beautiful stretch for the hip flexor and the quadricep. And then release. Come back to all fours. Now we'll give that right wrist a break by taking the left leg extending back. Reach into the heel. Right arm reaches forward. Thumb is up. Now just find your neutral with your spine. Level off your hips and your shoulders. Feel action in your leg. All the muscles are hugging the bone. And then as you exhale, round your back like a cat. Pull the knee and the elbow in. And we hold here the first time just briefly. So you can tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone. Find space all along your vertebrae. Then with the breath, inhale long. Exhale, contract. If you're feeling trouble balancing with this, you can put that right hand back down onto the mat and just use the leg in and out. It's the same movement, just a little less intense, a little bit more stable. 2 more repetitions. One more. And lengthen. Hold here. Left knee bends. Push the heel up to the ceiling, partway down. Up, partway down. So this is a little tiny contraction in the glute. You'll feel your hamstring nice and tight and working. 8, 7. Right hand can come down if you'd like and balance out the intensity in both arms. 4, 3, 2. Hold that heel up. Now either stay here and breathe or reach back, catch your ankle, and stretch into that kneeling half bow. Now this is a back bend, so I want you to protect your lower back by keeping your abs really tight. So you're not pinching the vertebrae in the lumbar spine. Neutral head, so we're not lifting up, pinching the back of the neck either. Just everything going long. Let's take one more breath here. And release it down, both knees back down to the blanket or the mat. We'll take a child's pose here. Now, child's pose is a place you can come anytime in your practice if you feel you need a breather. It can also be used in place of a downward facing dog. So you can remain there if you'd like, or tuck the toes, lift your hips, come into a down dog. So when we do down dog, we really want to push off of the hands. And then if you look side to side, you should be looking underneath your armpit. If you're looking over your shoulders, then you're in the wrong position with the upper body. So really push back so you can look under the arms from right to left. You can also place your hands on top of the chair in down dog. There's less pressure on your wrists. And we'll just pedal out the feet, just like we're walking, pressing one heel down, bending the opposite knee. And just check in and see how the back of the legs are feeling, the ankles and the toes. Another option for this down dog is to come down onto your elbows. This is called dolphin. So if you have wrist issues, this can be nicely done from your forearms. Again, child's pose is there anytime you need to recover. Let's pedal out those feet, 2 more on each side. Wonderful stretch. 1 more each side. And then press both heels down nicely. The knees can be bent any amount here if you're super tight in your hamstrings today. 1 more breath. And then exhale, let your knees return back to the mat into child's pose. So we'll come on up to a kneeling position and take a nice big step forward with your right foot into a kneeling lunge. So we want this foot to go way out there so that once we lunge, the knee is over the ankle. So the wrong way to do this would be to get the foot here and try to lunge this way with too much of the knee over the foot. So let's reach that foot out nice and long and then come up and support yourself right on the knees here. Now, another improper way to do this is to be over this knee, the back knee. We want to take the hips forward and really sink so you can feel that hip flexor opening up on the left leg. Now start to twist towards this right side, any amount. Take your right arm and reach it behind your back if that feels okay. Your left hand, support there on your knee, and I can take my my forearm and wrist and slightly press into my leg to get some anchor and leverage to increase my twist. Look over your shoulder. So with the arm wrapped behind the back, I get a nice stretch in this shoulder here. Just be mindful of that arm if you have any irritation there and feel any pain. Take a couple deep breaths right into your ribs. Feel the mid-back releasing. 1 more breath. And then unwrap that arm as you come back to center. We'll reach our fingertips down to the floor and slide the hips back into a hamstring stretch. So your block can be used if you need to support your body up a little higher. You can place your hands on your block. What we don't want to do here in this pose is to push down on our knee. So we don't hyperextend this knee joint. We keep it slightly soft. And then the spine is really long as we extend it over that leg and stretch the hamstring. Now, as we hold this stretch, we'll find some movement in our right ankle. So we'll point the toes down to the earth, plantar flexion. Then flex the foot up, dorsiflexion. Point and flex. 3 more, point and flex. 2, 1, flex, and then point that foot down and reach the knee back over the ankle. Tuck your back toe, lift the back knee off the mat, and rise up, holding crescent lunge. Now your arms don't need to be up. If that doesn't feel comfortable, you can place palms at your heart or hands on your hips. Shoulders are level, stacked right over those hips. Abs in, we're breathing. Really nice strengthener for this front leg. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. And exhale, hands come back down. The knee can come back down, stepping back to child's pose, or you can step back to downward facing dog. Either pose is wonderful as we transition to the other side. All right, if you're in down dog, drop your knees back down. We'll come on up and step your left foot forward as far as you can get it. You can just keep walking it, inching your toes until you find that nice long stride. Sink down into that leg, opening up the hip flexor, supporting on the knee. And just check and see where this hip is in relation to your back knee. So you don't want to be up here. Take it forward, drop it down. Feel the benefit of this hip flexor opener. And then as we turn towards the left leg, the left arm wraps behind the body. Or you can even just put your hand at your hip. And then the right arm reaches across the outside of the knee, the palm is up. Use that as an anchor to help you find a deeper twist and gaze over your left shoulder. Now find the breath. Inhale, 4, 3, 2. Exhale, 4, 3, 2. Nice deep breaths. Equal ratio pattern with the breath. Maybe the ujjayi. The ujjayi breath is like you are fogging up your glasses, making that sound, but your lips are closed. Let's take one more breath here. And then release the twist, unwrapping the arm. Come back to the center, your fingertips find the mat. Straighten out your front leg any amount. Sliding back. Now you can be right over this knee, but there are many options here in this hamstring stretch. Some of you might like to come back and sit on your heel. That doesn't feel so good for my knee. Some of you might like to slide into Hanumanasana, a front split, if you're really nice and flexible. But I kind of just like this one, basic 90-90 position of the knees, folding over that leg. Softness in the knee joint, not locked out. All right, let's articulate the ankle. Plantar flexion, toe goes down. Dorsiflexion, toes pull up. Point and flex. And boy, you can feel the difference in this stretch when you flex up, yes? 2 more. Point and flex. 1 more. Point and flex. Now point the foot all the way back down. Bring your body forward again. Tuck your back toes under. Slowly finding your balance. Rise up to your crescent lunge. Arms can be up at heart center. On your hips. Pull those shoulder blades back. Stack the shoulders over the hips. Activate this back leg. Breathe. And this is just a static hold. Working isometric strength. Breathing. 2 more breaths. A little bit of balance here as well. 1 more breath. And reach down to your mat. Now we can step back down to the knee if you'd like for a child's pose, or take that foot back behind you into downward facing dog. You choose which pose works best. So we're done with our kneeling poses. I'm just going to move my blanket out of the way of my yoga mat. And then walking our feet towards the top of the mat, we'll come into forward bend. Take your time to get there. Your feet can be tight together or about hips distance apart. There can be as much bend as you need in your knees today. You can reach your hands either behind your legs and pull yourself forward, or you can clasp opposite elbows in ragdoll pose. Just be comfortable and let everything go from the back side of your body. Expand the ribs as you breathe, just as we did in our opening breath in our practice today. If you have the elbows clasped, release them. Soften the knees a little bit more and reverse swan dive all the way up to extended mountain pose, Urdhva Hastasana. Sit your weight back in your heels, come into chair pose. Now our hips can be back over the heels as much as you can, so you can almost pick your toes up. Arms either extended up, forward, or at heart center. With the breath, let's flow in and out of chair pose. Sweep the arms up and sink back into your chair. Sweep arms up, sink back into chair. So in the fitness world, this is a squat. So it feels like we're going to sit down onto a chair, not like we're going to reach over and pick something up off the floor. So it shouldn't look like this. We want our heart up, just as if we're going to sit into a chair behind us. 2 more. One more. Breathe in. Hold your chair pose. And we'll start to turn towards the right side for a twisting chair. You can just stay right here, or we can bring the left arm across, the right arm up, just as we did in that twisting lunge, where we are anchoring one arm to the outside of the knee so we can help it facilitate the stretch. This upper arm can also wrap behind your back, just as we did in our kneeling lunge. Knees should be squared. You can look up over your right shoulder, or you can look down to the mat. Still weight back in the heels. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Bring the palms back to the heart. Come back to the center. Sweep the arms out and up to give the legs a break. And sink back into your chair. Twisting towards the left. The right hand comes across the knee to brace. The left arm can be up or wrapped behind your back. And we're still in a really good chair pose. So we don't want to be down here like we're going to touch the floor. Still be up. Heart is open. Feel this work in your legs. It's fairly intense as we're holding that isometric position. 2 more breaths. This is a pose that can be well done sitting in a chair also. Last breath in. And bring the palms back to heart center. Come out of your twist. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, swan dive down into forward bend. All right, let's take one foot and step it way back behind you and turn into a wide straddle stretch. So it just depends on which way you are facing, which foot is best served for you to step back. Now when we're in a wide stretch, we're going to walk those feet as wide as feels comfortable. Your toes are pointing forward, so the outside edges of your feet are parallel to the front and the back edge of your mat. Now, if you're fairly tight in your hamstrings, a block is a wonderful tool to use to hold yourself up so that you can relax and find that stretch behind the legs. Or we can take it down a little further and reach the fingertips out just as if you're doing a down dog to find space in your armpits and to open up your lats. Beautiful stretch here for the posterior chain. Let your head relax so you're not feeling any neck tension. Just a couple more breaths. And as we're focusing on that mid back today, we're going to be adding a twist to this wide leg forward bend. So if you're using a block, you can bring that right to the center and place your right hand on top of it, or your right hand can be on the floor. And we'll begin to open up into our twist, reaching that left arm either up to the ceiling, or again, we can wrap it behind the back. Finding a little theme here in our yoga practice as we're revisiting that position again. Your gaze can be up towards the ceiling or down towards that right hand. Breathe, expand your ribs, equal ratio breath. Twice more. As you exhale, that left arm comes down. And I have it just about along the midline of my body so that when I twist, I can try to stack the shoulders one on top of the other. If you don't get there, that's okay. Maybe choosing to wrap the hand behind your back, gaze up or down towards that bottom hand. Find the breath. Expand the ribs. The breath is such an important part of our yoga practice. Sometimes it happens without thinking about it. Other times we have to be really mindful of that breath. So we have a causal effect as we mindfully breathe in deeply and breathe out completely. One more breath here. And then exhale, lower down. Bring both hands to your hips. Use the strength of the backside of your body to pull yourself up. And then we'll slightly lengthen the front of the spine into a standing camel pose, little baby back bend here. Open up your throat slightly, lift your heart, pull your shoulder blades back. It's a nice counter pose from our forward bend. And come back up to neutral. We'll pivot out the right foot, and this brings us into a warrior two stance. Start to bend this right knee. It doesn't have to be deep, but your stride is nice and long from the front to the back foot. Open your arms out and turn your palms up so that you're rotating the fronts of your shoulders open. Lift your heart. And we'll gaze out over the right fingertips and maybe sink down a little deeper into that thigh. Beautiful warrior pose. Left leg is nice and straight. Now keep the upper arms rotated open and just take your palms and turn them down, giving you a spiral twist to your arm bones. Relax your shoulder blades down towards your hip pockets. One more breath. Then take your upper body and slightly reach it out, nice and long. Bring that right forearm down to your thigh, or maybe it's just your hand here. Left arm reaches up to the ceiling, or you can let that left arm reach closer to your ear for extended side angle. And just imagine someone's grabbing a hold of your wrist and pulling. So you've got a dynamic, active stretch here. Now let your left shoulder blade pull back a little. A common error that I see in side angle pose is people are bent forward because they're trying to touch the floor. The floor is not our goal. Opening up this side waist is our goal. Releasing tension in the mid-back. One more breath. And as you exhale, let that propel your body back up to your warrior two. Relax your hands to the hips for a moment. Straighten out that front leg, pivot your toes in, pivot the left foot out, and sink down into your warrior. So alignment is really important to me as a teacher, and I look at what's most important for alignment. And one thing in the warrior is that this knee is tracking over your heel. Sometimes the knee wants to collapse inward, and we roll to the arch of our foot. So pull this knee out towards your pinky toe. Take your arms out, rotate your palms up, pull your shoulders back, gaze over your hands, lengthen your spine nice and long, maybe sink a little deeper into that front leg. And then just the palms will turn to face the floor. Nice spiral twist in the arm bones. Breathe. Equal ratio breath. Expansive rib cage breath. All right, take it out a little bit. Lengthen. Bring that forearm or hand down to the top of your thigh. Right arm either reaches straight up, this is your side angle, or the arm comes closer to the ear, extended side angle. I like the extended because it really gives me a nice stretch through the ribs and through the tight lat muscles. Pull that top shoulder back. So we're not in a forward fold here. We're in lateral flexion of the spine. Expansive breath right into this rib cage. Open up the intercostal muscles. One more breath in. And let your exhale propel you back up to your warrior two. And then bring your hands down to your hips. Straighten out that leg. Now you can either heel toe your feet together or maybe take a little jump, bring your feet together. Shake out your legs a little bit. We need a standing balance pose today. If you need a chair or a wall to hold on to for a little assistance, give yourself that space right now at home. All right, one of our most basic and beloved balance poses is tree pose. We can do many levels with tree to challenge us depending on where we're at in our practice. So we'll stand on our right foot and spread your toes a little bit. Feel all four corners of that foot really rooted down in the earth. Right now we'll just place palms to heart center or hands to hips. Pick up this left knee and then pivot and rotate the knee out and just see where you can point it. It doesn't have to be clear out to the side, just whatever range that your hip joint allows for. You can keep your foot on the floor, or you can bring your toes up off the floor by placing the foot at your ankle or your shin. Skip your knee. We don't want to push it against your knee joint, but you can take it all the way up to the inner thigh if that feels comfortable for you. Good. So we find our balance pose through the foundation of our standing leg. Feel it strong and energetic. Then whatever else we add from there is just icing on the cake. So we can take the fingertips up, branches of our tree. We can allow a gentle breeze to flow through the room, and we can flow the branches. We can have our gaze, our drishti, straight forward or slightly down to the floor, finding something to look at. Or we can allow our gaze to move upward, which is a little bit more challenging here in this pose. So you're wherever you'd like to be today. 3 more breaths. If you fall out of the pose, just take your time coming back in. 1 more breath. And then bring those palms back in. The knee comes forward. The foot steps back down to the earth. Now just check in. So I don't know about you, but I'm feeling all of that work in that standing side. So maybe just shake out the legs a little bit. And then find your root into this left foot. Spread your toes a little bit so you can spread your roots out. Lengthen your spine. Pick up the knee. Rotate the hip to whatever degree you can go. If you're holding onto a chair, just lightly use it for support. Find the place where your foot feels most comfortable, but not pressing into your knee joint. Once you feel stable, then you can add your limbs, your branches, or change the movement, or change the gaze. Now, we always have one side that seems to be our nemesis. Yes, that we have a difficult time holding our balance. So that's where we're not only working balance in general, but balance between our right and left sides. Trying to strengthen that weaker side. Finding more stability there. A couple more breaths. One more breath in. Bring the palms back to heart center. The knee comes forward. And we step it down to the mat and just notice how you feel in that standing side hip. Shake out the legs a bit. Let's take a nice big deep breath in. Reach up. And as you exhale, bring your hands behind your back. You can interlace them. You can also use your yoga strap. So I really like this for chest expansion. You can bring that yoga strap behind you to find a good range of motion here. So you choose. Hands can even be at hips. Let your arms raise behind your back body as much as you feel comfortable. Now today you might want to just stand and enjoy this stretch. You might want to sit down on the floor and do it if you're feeling a little tired in your legs. Or another option is to do this pose in forward bend. If you're going there with me, we bend our knees a little bit like we're sinking into chair. And then let your upper body fold over your legs. Your arms begin to reach higher and higher. Now the beauty of this strap is we can always let it out a little bit more. So we can find more distance between our hands. And that's going to give you the ability to bring your arms further over your head so that you can optimize the use of gravity to stretch those shoulders. Now the shoulders are oftentimes a precarious joint, so be careful with this. Try not to push it beyond your limitations. Let's take 2 more breaths. If you're in forward bend, come out the way you came in. So the knees bend, the chest rises up through that little baby chair pose. And we come back to stand and release. Okay, we're going to use this strap if you have it as we come down to the mat, back into a comfortable seated position. I like to sit on my yoga blanket, but whatever's comfortable for you. So we're going to stretch the shoulders with cow face arms. And I love the strap for that because I'm pretty tight in my shoulders. Some of you might have the flexibility not to have to use your strap. So take that strap, I usually fold it in half, and bring it behind your back so your elbow is up in your right hand. And then I'm going to just use my left arm to bring that right arm into a nice stretch here. Now you can take your head and push it back into your wrist or your forearm. So you don't want to be down here in your pose, but keep it nice and long. The left arm, turn your thumb down so you're in inward rotation of your shoulder and reach back behind. Find that strap that's dangling behind you and start to inch your fingers close together, but in a comfortable position. No stress. So on the right side, we're stretching our tricep and our lat. On the left arm, we're stretching that anterior and medial deltoid, our shoulder muscle. And then if we want a little bit more opening, we tip over towards the left a little bit and open up the side waist. Also releasing through that mid-back one more time. Now if you're tipping to the side, you're not using your hand to support on the mat next to you. What are you using? Your abdominals. So I really want you to brace your core as you're holding this side bend. Feel your obliques working. Good, let's take one more breath here. Exhale to come back up. The bottom arm releases first, let it come out, and then release the right arm down. That felt pretty good. Let's try the other side. So left hand reaches up, dangle the strap behind you, and then take a little pre-stretch here, pull the elbow. Now you might not have the amount of range of motion that you're seeing me do. It might seem only like this for you, and that's okay. Wherever this elbow can go. Take the right hand, thumb down, reach behind you, find the strap. Now for most people who are right-handed, your right shoulder is tighter because that arm tends to be out in front of you, and we're using that muscle a little bit more than we are on the left side. So this side for you could feel tighter than the first way that we did the pose. Make sure you feel comfortable. Take your side bend if you want to add that in and feel your core working. Now when you're side bending, you don't want to lean over on that sitting bone. Still keep both sitting bones nice and even and just open up the side waist. Take a couple more breaths here. If you want, you can walk your fingers a little bit closer. One more breath. And pull yourself back up. The bottom arm releases first, very gently, and then the top arm releases. It's time to come down onto our backs on the mat. You can use your yoga blanket if you'd like for a little pillow, or you can tuck it underneath your knees for a little bit of support as we come into a reclining position. So we come into our Shavasana today. We find a comfortable place where we can relax and let go. Our traditional Shavasana, we have our feet a little wider than hips distance. Turn the toes out. Let the hips relax. There's many other options for this final relaxation pose. You can bring the soles of the feet together, let the knees open into Supta Baddha Konasana for more of a hip release. If your lower back is bothering you being in this place, you can bend your knees, set your feet flat, walk your ankles out and let your knees touch in the middle. That's a wonderful place to relax the low back. If you're close to a chair, you can place your ankles up on a chair, which is wonderful for venous return and taking any swelling out of your ankles or fluid. You can also extend your legs straight up the wall to really get some good blood flow back to the heart. Also our lymphatic fluid, using gravity to flow back down toward the midsection. So wherever you would like to be today. Clear your mind. Now find the breath in and out moving through the belly. The breath is more shallow here than at the beginning of our practice. So as we breathe, the belly floats up, just softly like we're filling a balloon. As we exhale, the belly flattens downward. And just let the breath move without thinking about it, and bring your awareness to your body and just notice if you're tightening any muscles. Sometimes we're shrugging our shoulders up or tensing our jaw and not even realizing it. So just soften everything. Let your eyelids feel heavy. The tongue should be gently pressed against the roof of the mouth, and allow your teeth to slightly separate. And notice your legs and arms. Your limbs should be really heavy, drawn towards the earth like a magnet. As we finish our final relaxation in class, if you'd like to, take a moment just to send some nice, positive, healing thoughts to those in our country that were really affected yesterday by the terrorism imposed upon the Capitol building. And upon our democracy. We breathe in all that is positive and right and truthful and good. We exhale out, removing from our body anything that is painful and angry and hateful and wrong. It starts with ourself, it moves into our communities, and it spreads to our country. Goodness and positivity, self-worth and peace. If you'd like, you can remain as you are for as long as you wish, no rush to get up. Or if you're ready to close your practice with me, let's bend our knees and gently draw them in towards the chest. As you hug them in, make circles with your knees, checking in with your lower back, mid-back, and then reverse direction. Now there's a couple of ways we can get up. We can roll over onto a side and then use our arms to press up, or we can hold behind the knees and then begin to rock our body forward a couple of times until we have the energy to roll up and back to a nice, simple cross-leg pose. We'll take a breath together, sweeping the arms out and up. Press your palms and bring your thumbs to your forehead. For positive thoughts for our country today, for our new administration moving forward. Bring those thumbs to your lips for positive words as we speak to one another, as we speak the truth and we speak freedom and democracy. And we bring our thumbs to our heart for positive actions. And the light and love and peace that resides within me honors the light and love and peace in each and every one of you. Namaste.